Hello there, wellness entrepreneur. Welcome back. If you're watching this on YouTube, I have a small but mighty audience on YouTube where you can actually see the visual. And I have one of the she shed doors. My goodness, my brain. I'll tell you in a moment what's going on for me is open because it feels like summer here in San Diego. The last few days have felt like summer. Beach time, spring break is on the horizon, lots of renewal type energy. It's lovely. And it brings a lot of hope for the McLean family. And I'll get into this. It's not connected at all, really, to this week's episode, just a little behind the scenes of what's going on in my world. So you understand, how I have a personal life beyond this brand, beyond this business, behind my passion for helping so many wellness entrepreneurs and practitioners. This weekend, we had to say goodbye to a very special member of our family. Her name is Coda, and she was our loyal, steadfast lab slash Malinois, which is Belgium Shepherd mix. So she was a lab Belgian Shepherd mix, and she was a very, very special dog to us. And we got her when I was pregnant with Kaylee about 5 or 6 months. And we had our other puppy, Wiley, who's a couple years older than her, who's a very energetic terrier and lives up to his name, Wiley. He's very crazy. We thought it'd be fun to bring another puppy on so he could have a play day and we could have family adventures with the baby. And we stumbled across Coda. She is a rescue. Actually, another mom to be was pregnant and she was a single mom and she was going to move in with her mom. And her mom said, I'll help you care for the baby, but no dogs. And so she was frantically looking for a new home for Coda. And we kept Coda's name because we really loved it. And we met her, I remember the first day in a park, and we brought Wiley. And Wiley, he's a little grumpy at times. He's a terrier. But they eventually bonded. And last night, actually, we were going through some old videos and footage with Kaylee and Sean. And we just have so many videos of Wiley and Coda just tearing up our yard, like running in one side of the garage, out the other, down the yard, up into the house, into the front yard, just all over the place. And we had a lot of fun remembering her. So I just want to honor her memory here on the podcast. You might not know she is in the shed with me, especially her last year of life. She was diagnosed. Sean and I were trying to remember 6 months to a year ago with anal gland cancer, and it was inoperable. And so we were behind the scenes caring for her, and she just loves people. And her whole purpose was to hurt us, make sure all of us was okay, and be with one of us. So she spent many, many days with me here in the shed, and I really miss my walks with her from the shed to the house. And I'm sorry, I'm emotional. She was here and I feel is here in spirit, but she helped me record many podcasts. And many of my clients have seen her on calls as I let her in and out of the shed her last several months as she was managing all that comes with that diagnosis. So I just want to honor her memory here. And I know a lot of you have been asking about her, and she has passed on. And we're really grateful for all our time with her. So thank you so much for everyone who's reached out to me, and she is here in spirit. Sean and I we do have 5 rescues. Well, Coda was our 5th. And so we have Wiley now, who is 14, and Spark, who is 2 pup. Both are terrier mixes, rescues. And then we also have 2 cats. He's about a year now. He's a kitten and his name is Thor. Kaylee named him Thor. Actually, Kaylee named all our dogs except for Wiley and Coda, all our animals except for Wiley and Coda, and Sasha, who is also a cat, and she is almost 5 now. So we have a little rescue farm here, and we now have a few angels keeping over us. And so just a little personal, what I do outside of my business is we spend a lot of time caring for animals and going on walks, and we spend a lot of time in there where we got Spark. There is a pop-up rescue facility that we often visit pups, and Kaylee keeps begging for more, and I keep telling her when we move to a farm and can hire some help with the animals, then maybe. But she does talk about being a vet one day, and there's no pressure if she changes course. Of course, I am very curious to see if she will follow that path or work with animals in some way, but we'll see. So Coda is with us still here in spirit today. When Sean and I took Wiley and Spark out on our morning walk, we definitely felt her presence. So thank you, Coda, for everything. We are so grateful. Okay, so moving on to this week's episode, it's a very important one as well. So thanks for hanging in with hearing behind the scenes with me. It's all about the reason why your online program isn't selling, and it's not your expertise. And it has nothing to do with your niche or your name or whether it's a membership or a high ticket hybrid of one-to-one in person and online. It's none of those things, right? The structure of the program, how many sessions, the pricing. It is none of that. Most wellness practitioners, they think, I just need more visibility. I need more funnels. I need more ads. I need a different name. I need a different price point, or I need to change how many sessions are in it, which of course you can always add funnels. You can always change the structure. I'm always evaluating the structures of my programs and saying, okay, like, is the call frequency, is that the right amount and the pricing and all that stuff? Yes. But that's not truly the reason why people will say yes to working with you or not. The real issue is you're selling a program in practitioner language, not client language. And I do have previous episode on messaging, and this is going to be a complementary one where we do bring in some messaging, and it's all relation to how it should trickle into your program as well, how there should be some consistency on that. Because here's the truth, clients don't buy credentials. Often, actually, when they look at your name on Instagram and you have an alphabet soup of credentials behind your name, they don't even know what one or all of it even means. They might be able to recognize one, but most of the time they have no idea what any of that means. Sometimes, even if you spell it out, like somatics, I'm a somatic practitioner, they don't even know what that means often. What they do buy is relief. They buy results and outcomes. They buy clarity. They buy your confidence. And so when we come to helping you create more freedom and flexibility in your business by having more abundance of revenue, abundance of time, it all means you're making a bigger impact with your audience. You are connecting with them more. They're saying yes to working with you. You're serving people more, but in a program that's out of that back to back, one to one grind, or stuck in your office, your clinic, where the only way to scale is the expensive way, essentially buying or renting a bigger office space, rent, and that can get really expensive. And then, of course, you need the practitioners and the staff, like front office, operational manager, to support all that is also really expensive when there is a much leaner, profitable way to scale. And you don't have to abandon your in-person clinic. You can keep it small and mighty and do the work that you want to do. You can even bring in a practitioner or two. But when you do have online options, it really opens so much freedom and flexibility in your business. I mean, here I am recording from the she shed, and I was just out in the garden during my lunch, soaking up the rays, sitting with all the animals in Coda's spirit. And I just love it. I just love it. I can't imagine doing any, and then helping you guys and getting to come here and talk with you guys. I can't imagine doing it any other way, except maybe at some point I might want to move away from the freeway, but that's another story. But back to how I got here, it was really learning this skill, because it is a skill. And now we have AI to help. There is previous episodes about how to use AI to really start to hone in on your skill of being able to speak in your marketing, whether you're on Instagram or doing a workshop in person or online, speaking at a networking event, making a presentation, posting, and for sure in your program, all of that is actually done in client language versus practitioner language. And that is the core teaching. So, for example, let me give you some specifics here. Practitioner language is anatomy, anterior, posterior, pelvic tilt, spinal flexion. It's also your protocols and methodologies. Like, we first strengthen the foundation and then we add mobility. That is in practitioner language. Certifications, modalities. Essentially, it's all the stuff that you learned in certifications in school. And often it's when practitioners first come to me wanting to start an online program, it's what they want to teach in the online program, versus client language is more specific to symptoms or pain points that they're experiencing, like not being able to bend over and pick the groceries off the ground without their back giving out, or frustrations, or identity pains, how they identify it with their diagnoses, what they're scared of, what they're Googling at 2 a.m., what they want their life to look like and feel like in terms of wellness. Or if you're a life guide or a life coach or a relationships coach, But let's give some specific examples even beyond this. So, practitioner language for a physical therapist could look like a 12-week neuromuscular re-education and mobility optimization program. The client hears crickets, nothing. They don't know what any of that gobbledygook actually means. Versus client language would be finally walk, hike, and travel without your knee flaring up every 3 weeks. That they can visualize. They can visualize themselves being able to hike or hiking with pain or hiking without pain, right? When you visualize it, then you can know you're onto something. Yoga therapist example, a nervous system regulation framework. Yes, nervous system is in practitioner language. Nervous system regulation framework integrating somatics and breath sequencing. Client language, stop feeling wired at night and exhausted in the morning. Okay, health coach, a metabolic reset protocol. Client language, stop gaining 5 pounds every year, no matter how clean you eat. Getting the feeling, getting the vibe. Because your client, here's the truth, they're not going into Google and they are not searching advanced corrective exercise integration. They are thinking, why does my back still hurt even though I'm doing everything right? Why does my back still hurt even though I went to the chiropractor? So, why this matters for selling an online program is because when you're selling online, you really want to differentiate yourself from all the other practitioners online. You don't have your hands on them. You don't have your in person authority. You don't have insurance, referrals, and validation. What you have primarily is your messaging, no matter where you're showing up. If your messaging is unclear or too general or too vague or too in practitioner language, your sales will be inconsistent. So it's nothing personal against you or all those other facets of your program. It is this. And so often, this general, vague, or practitioner language leaks into your program. So your program framework often has the same problem. And this is where practitioners really miss it. They build modules based upon what they want to teach, which is practitioner brain, instead of what my client needs to believe, understand, and experience to get the result. I'll say that again. What your client needs to believe, understand, and experience to get the wellness result they're desiring. So, for example, what practitioners usually do, module one, and I did this in the Heal Your Low Back Blueprint, 100% did this. One of my first online programs. Module one, anatomy of the pelvis. Module two, biomechanics. Module three, corrective exercises. Module four, advanced integration. It all feels good and logical to you, but to the client, it feels academic. It feels overwhelming. It feels intimidating. They won't feel that they're in the right spot. They might say, oh, I'm not sure if this will work for me. Now, I want to pause here because having a client in the very beginning feel overwhelmed in your program is not necessarily a problem because they're learning a new skill set. They're learning new things. That's right. That's the whole point. If they kept staying in their comfort zone, doing the same thing again and again and again, they're not going to change. They're not going to grow. They're not going to get the result, right? So there is an essence of overwhelmed. But when that is grounded in overwhelmed, but I can see the path forward. So I'm overwhelmed, but I'm going to learn how to bend forward and pick something off the ground without flaring up my back. Then it grounds them into their why. They can connect the dots versus being overwhelmed and seeing biomechanics, which they don't know what that means. Then they have nothing to connect it to their why. And so they're not going to come into the modules, right? So that is the difference. So instead, for example, those modules could be why your pain isn't random and what's actually causing it. Module two, stop triggering flare-ups without realizing it. Module three, the 15-minute reset routine for busy days. Module four, build strength without re-irritating your body. So you can teach the same exact things. How you might present it, I do want you to consider presenting it in a client perspective. But essentially, you can still teach the same thing. So, for example, I know one of my clients, she's a somatic practitioner. The methodology of somatics that she's learned, there's like the red light reflex and the green light reflex. So she can still teach those reflexes, for example, but the actual title and how she presents the information will be from the client perspective. She's not really going to, she might say, okay, and what I just taught you is the red light reflex, but it's going to be positioned first from the client perspective. So it's the same knowledge, just different framing. And now it speaks to their fear, their confusion, their daily life, and that's going to help them through the overwhelm. So practitioners often speak to function, which is good, right? That's going to help the client understand the results that they're getting, and they're going to see and witness the results. But here's the thing, clients speak to identity. You teach range of motion, stability, breath mechanics. They want to feel strong in their body again, to not be the fragile one, to trust themselves, to stop canceling plans, or like me, the hypersensitive one. When your messaging hits this identity, sales feel easier. So here's the simplest test you can give them. If your program title sounds like it belongs in a continuing education course, it probably won't convert online. If it sounds like something someone would type into Google at 11 p.m., now you're closer. Okay. This is important. And I say this compassionately. Most practitioners resist client language because they're afraid it sounds less professional. They don't want to oversimplify. They value depth and nuance. So if any of this is resonating, you're not alone. But clarity is not dumbing down, it's leadership, it's authority, the ability to take people with you, to show up as the leader. So you can still be clinically brilliant, but market clearly. See the difference? You're not dumbing down. I had a coach at one time years ago, and he'd be like, say things essentially like, oh, your audience is stupid. They don't know. And literally, like, all this, like, negative talk about how the audience is not educated and essentially stupid. And I disagree. I don't think it's about dumbing down or viewing your audience as stupid. It's just realizing that they're busy. You're doing it with compassion. I say it compassionately to you so you can be compassionately to them, is that they just want someone to help connect the dots for them. You're the expert. They don't know all the information. They just know their problems and how they're feeling or the identity within the problems that they're having, right? And if you can connect the dots for them, oh my gosh, you are providing such a service for them. This is a place of service for them. So here's how to fix it. You want to give your audience something practical. Start collecting their words. So you can do polls in Instagram. For example, for me, I have any client that books a consultation, they fill out a form. I often save the words that they're writing, not the name, just the words that they're writing in there. I often use Zoom AI companion on consults. And then I can, again, a lot of that is gold, common problems in their language. And I can drop all that into AI and say, oh, help me come up with podcast topics from the client's perspective. Let's come up with some reels and hooks from the client's perspective. View these documents. Oh gosh, it's so good. It helps you so much. You can, any of your client sessions, again, what they're coming and complaining to in the beginning of the session, if they have a complaint or at any time, that's all gold that can be used in your messaging. So one by one, you want to start someplace, right? Because this leaks through. If you look at a funnel, from top of funnel, anywhere you're showing up, a workshop registration page, sales page for your program, Instagram messaging, even the conversations, the words that you say at networking events, right? So you just have to go through it one and one and start evaluating and looking and highlighting and circling every technical term, every modality reference, every certification mentioned, and start catching yourself so you're rewiring a new pattern for yourself. And instead, you can ask, does this help them feel understood? Is this from their perspective? Or is it where I'm comfortable and things are just flowing off my tongue and that's the language I'm used to using? It's gonna feel uncomfortable. It'll probably feel overwhelming for you. I know for me, I still have to remind myself all the time. It's like learning a second language, switch to client language. But over time, it does get easier and better. And then go through your modules. And instead of postural restoration foundations, try why your posture keeps collapsing at 3 p.m. Instead of breathwork integration, try stop holding your breath all day and just do it one by one. This is what makes working with me, a lot of my clients say, worth the investment just of itself because of the messaging feedback they get, the messaging reminders. If they have a workshop, they know they're going to have a better chance of filling it, selling it out, and converting because I am going through every step of the way, whether they're one-to-one or in the 100K online practice blueprint, every step of the way, we're looking at the message to make sure it is in client perspective. And this isn't about being clever. It's about sometimes a brand name, the overarching brand name of your business. Now that can be clever, unique, even a made up word, general. Sometimes even that header, your Instagram bio or the header on your website, it can be a little bit more vague and bold, right? But those are the really or less specific, but still it's going to be from client perspective. And those are very specific examples. I would say 95% of all other marketing comes back to this. It's not about being clever. It's about if your audience understands the problem that you solve for it. Because if they don't understand the problem that you are solving for them specifically, they can't imagine it, if they can't visualize it, if they can't feel it, they won't invest with you to solve it. They'll invest with someone else to solve it who is able to say that. And that is why I work with practitioners that have been practitioner for like 10, 20, sometimes even 30 years. And they're saying, well, that's all these new practitioners coming online. That's how they're able to grow an audience faster. That's how they're able to sell out their online programs faster. They're closer to the client language. So specific messaging equals specific clients. Specific clients equals consistent sales. That's the math. So if you're a practitioner who knows you're good at what you do, but your online program isn't filling the way it should, it's probably not your skill. It's not your translation. This is the exact problem right here. Making sure you're in client language. And of course, if you want to work on this with me, I've helped so many clients come in, no matter if they're just starting out new to business, you're going to establish a strong foundation now to learn this second language right off the bat and start translating with everything that you do. Or a practitioner that's been practicing for decades. I've helped many people it's take a same workshop that hadn't been filling because it was beginner yoga for the low back and instead put it in more client language and then it starts filling, or a program it starts filling, because you don't need more certifications. You just need clarity that converts. All right. I'll see you next week. Thanks for, again, all the love and messages and support around Coda. And I will see you all next week. Bye for now. This episode is brought to you by Jane, a practice management software and EMR designed for wellness practitioners who value structure, simplicity, and calm growth. If you're a skilled wellness practitioner who's tired of tech overwhelm and administrative chaos, Jane understands. Your expertise should be focused on client transformation, not wrestling with software. Jane provides the structure and systems you need to run a sustainable practice. With Jane's streamlined online booking, your clients can easily schedule at times that work for them. With smart features like waitlist notifications, those last-minute cancellations become opportunities, not losses. It's a simple way to maintain consistent revenue without the constant hustle of filling your calendar. During sessions, Jane's AI-powered documentation helps you capture important notes, efficiently allowing you to stay present and focused on delivering exceptional care. After appointments, you can end on a healing note rather than a transactional one by charging cards on file and handling rebooking before the client leaves, creating the organized, professional experience your business deserves. To discover how Jane can help you build a more structured, scalable wellness practice that works even when you're offline, resting, use the link in the show notes. And especially for you, Ignite Your Wellness business listeners, when you're ready to implement the simple system that supports your growth, use code IGNITE1MO. So that's IGNITE1MO to get your first month complimentary. That code will also be in the show notes.